Hi, I'm Jim Spignardo, Director of Cloud Strategy and AI Enablement here at ProArch. Something's changing with Copilot Cowork. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through exactly what's changing, how it affects you and your company, and the specific steps to take before July 1st. From the period of March 30th to June 16th, Cowork was included at no cost. There were no pre-task charges. It was free for early access users. Now, with general availability, it works differently. It requires that Microsoft 365 Copilot licenses you already have be also included with a pay-per-use Copilot credit for each Cowork task you run. And I want to really be clear here about one thing. Your basic Copilot license is not changing. Copilot Chat, Copilot Word, Copilot Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, and Teams, Work IQ, and the pre-built agents are all still included. Cowork is simply an additive optional layer on top. So how does the new pricing actually work? Well, Copilot is billed in Copilot credits, and the price of each task comes from 4 inputs. First, the model use, which essentially is the model that the task runs on, the model you select. Second is the context retrieval, or how much of your Microsoft 365 data it will actually read. Third is any tool calls, which is essentially the actions and integrations it's going to use. And fourth is the runtime, or how long the task runs from beginning to end. And there are 2 ways to pay. The first is pay as you go at 1 cent per Copilot credit or message. There's no commitment. You pay only for what you consume. The second is something called P3 commitment, where you commit to a usage volume upfront in exchange for a per credit discount. That's best for more predictable, heavy use of Cowork. Now, what do tasks actually cost? And this is where there's a lot of confusion. Microsoft grouped real frontier usage into 3 patterns. And the good news is that most everyday work falls into light or medium. So a light task runs about $1 to $3. That's roughly 100 to 300 credits. Think few sources, light reasoning, about 1 output, finishing in just a few minutes. For an example, creating a weekly status update from Monday emails would be a light task. A medium task runs about $4 to $7 or 4 to 700 credits. This would be something similar to several Microsoft 365 sources, a structured reasoning task, and 2 or more outputs or documents created. An example here would be prep me for my client meeting, pull all my emails, calendars, and files into a brief file or a Word document, and also a PowerPoint deck. A heavy task is going to be $7 and up. Again, these are all estimates. 700 credits or more. Broad aggregation, deep multi-step reasoning, many outputs, and it might even run overnight. Something like analyze 6 months of usage data into a leadership-ready report would be a good example. On June 16th, Cowork became generally available worldwide, and usage-based billing is now available to be turned on. On June 23rd, that's today, as I'm recording this, in-app banners will begin to show up to your users, warning them about the July 1st access change. From June 16th through the 30th, next week, you're in a grace period. Any tenant that had Frontier users keeps using Cowork at no cost. So this is exactly the window to set your caps and budgets. Then on July 1st, billing is required. Without that configured, Frontier users will lose access. The history and artifacts will be retained. So that's the good news. So the message is pretty simple. Use this next week to get your controls in place. Here's your action plan. 5 steps, and most of these just take minutes in the admin center to actually set up. ProArch can do this with you or for you. So step 1 is you run the Cowork Cost Estimator, which is the spreadsheet that Microsoft has created to model your expected spend before you actually commit to any type of pricing. Step 2 would be set spending caps. 3 would be to configure your budget and alerts so you're notified when spend approaches your thresholds. Step 4 would be decide who's going to get access. Cowork is off by default, so to turn it on you have to essentially select individuals or groups. And then step 5, pilot a small group and then scale. Now, I don't want this to come across as all caution because Cowork earns its keep. And here's where it's going to earn every credit. It runs in the cloud, unattended. You define the task once and then walk away. And it keeps running even when your laptop is off. It stays inside your trust boundary, just like Copilot, operating within your Microsoft 365 security, compliance, and sensitivity controls. It tackles the work that would take hours, long-running tasks from dozens of sources, where your time typically far outweighs the credit cost. And it's going to get cheaper over time. Cowork One, which is Microsoft's own fine-tuned model, is coming soon for everyday tasks at a substantially lower cost. Keep an eye out for that. And on price, in Microsoft's June 2026 testing, Copilot Cowork averaged 30 to 40% lower cost per prompt than similar products like Claude Cowork. So let's get you ready before July 1st. Here's what you'll do. Here's what we can do together. We'll run the estimator. We'll set your spending caps and alerts and stand up a right-sized pilot so you can capture the value of Cowork without disrupting and without any surprise bills to your finance department. Again, I'm Jim Spignardo, and my team and I are ready when you are. Just reach out and we'll get a session on the calendar, and thanks for your time.